Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing a list that I was on the verge of deleting, but to be honest, we had some good games, even though this deck was absolutely turbo gash and, you know, unbelievably RNG focused. It did actually produce a number of very fun games anyway, so I'm going to be showcasing those to you today. Today's deck is going to be a Bant Reanimator Flicker deck, I guess. I don't know where you want to actually put this one. It's based around Gyruda, Doom of Depths, aka Gigan, Cyberclaw, Terror. Let me get the alternative art for those who would like to see it in their collection. It's this card right here. I just kind of like the Godzilla when it comes to Gigan. I played this during the streamer event, so I did it with the Godzilla side of things, so it was... I don't know. There's a little bit of nostalgia in the Godzilla side of this card, but I know some of you guys don't like that. So, you know, Gyruda Doom of Depths is going to be our build around. And for those who are unaware of this card, when Ikoria was first released and the companion rule was completely ruining the game of Magic the Gathering, Gyruda did actually have a pretty decent deck behind it. It was basically... I think it was actually a Bant list as well. It was definitely Simic, let's put it that way. And it was all about ramping out a Gyruda or as early as possible using things like Growth Spiral, things like Paradise Druid, and then playing it out of the Companion Zone and milling over your deck and hopefully trying to hit clone effects. And the main one was Spark Double, which is a 4-mana 0/0 that can enter the battlefield as a copy of a certain card. However, it comes in with an additional counter on it, and the card you copy loses legendary if it was legendary. So essentially, we're going to play Gigan, we're going to mill over 4 cards, and then put a card with even converted mana cost from among it onto the battlefield under our control. So the even converted mana cost would be Spark Double. Spark Double enters as a copy of Gigan, which means it triggers the enter the battlefield ability all over again, milling another 4, and then in those 4 we pick another brand new card. So the idea behind this deck was I wanted to test out whether or not there was actually anything still left of this deck, because it did some very good work back in the day and then it just kind of dropped off, and I wanted to know why it dropped off, and it's dropped off for a good reason, because it's terrible now. But with Amonkhet Remastered, we actually got Vizier of Many Faces, a 4-mana 0/0 that can also enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. However, it does keep its name. It doesn't keep its name, it becomes a token that's a copy and blah, 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 blah. Essentially, this one will Legend Rule Gigan, but it does allow us to basically do what Spark Double does. If we've had Spark Double enter first, then we can use Vizier to make a copy of the non-legendary version of Gigan or Gyruda, if we want to do that. Other than that, though, those are our main ways of cloning Gigan. We do have ways of flickering Gigan, however. Also, we do have extra copies of Gigan in the deck, so Gigan can hit Gigan and reanimate Gigan. But we do have flickers in Charming Prince. It's the reason why we're splashing white. 2-mana 2/2. Has a number of actual applications here. We can gain life to survive a little bit if we need to against the aggro decks. So if we're ramping, we might ramp into a Charming Prince, so like Growth Spiral, leave open 2 mana, play Charming Prince, gain some life, produces a blocker and scries. The blocker is actually quite important, we'll get to that in just a second. We can also scry 2 to make sure that we don't hit all of our clone effects, because putting them in your hand is a death sentence, to be honest. So you don't really want to be doing that. That's why this deck's an RNG focus, because it's got some horrendous top decks. And then you can also use the third chapter, and this is the main reason why this card is applicable in this list, to exile another target creature you own and return it to the battlefield. However, it's only on the end step, so we can only re-chain together. This deck is capable of milling out your opponent if you are lucky enough. We're not going to be able to showcase that today. I never managed to pull it off, because it honestly does revolve around you being extremely lucky or your opponent having some sort of self-mill card draw synergy of their own to really get ahead of their deck size. But we can flicker Gigan so that on our end step we get to trigger that effect again and try to hit more clone effects. Thassa is in here because it does exactly the same thing as well. On our end step, it allows us to flicker a creature we control and then return it to the battlefield under our control. And then finally, to top it all off, after we've put a load of creatures into play, we can go with a Crater Hoof Behemoth, an 8-mana 5/5 with haste, Enters the battlefield, creatures you control get trample, and +X, where X is the number of creatures you control. The original list had Endray's Foreigners, but Endray's Foreigners for the exact same mana cost only gives +2/+2 and Vigilance, I believe. So with Craterhoof in play, we can actually get a +X, which is exceptionally more powerful, I would say, to finish off the game anyway. So what we want to be doing is chaining together our clone effects, and hopefully having some Mana Dorks and some Charming Princes in play, because it will not remove Summoning Sickness from our creatures. So everything that we've reanimated up until that point is really only another +X to the Craterhoof's ETB. We actually do need a creature in play without Summoning Sickness to actually make use of the +X, obviously excluding Craterhoof, because that one also has haste itself. But yeah, that is essentially the deck. It's pretty damn simple. However, winning with it is somehow exceptionally complicated. There is a lot of control going around, so I did add some Pact of Negations, because in theory, if we play our Gigan, we're going to be able to chain together enough spells to produce a massive board state, so we will never need to pay that 5 if we produce a massive board state and Craterhoof and kill our opponent, for example. So paying the 5 there, not too much of a problem. We can also use it, I guess, once we've established a board state, if the Gigan resolved, to counter a Wrath of God, because then we can pay the 5 and swing through for victory. Something like that, anyway. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Again, I want to stress this deck is not good, so do not craft it thinking you're going to win many games. You are not. You are going to win maybe, I want to say, 25-30% of the time. That's how bad it is. I do want to revisit it at some point, though, and see if I can make it more of a mid-range actual good deck, because I think the companion side of Gigan is definitely not great. We're putting it in the companion zone so that we always have one, but I think if you made this more of a fair, mid-rangey kind of Gigan, oh, we drew it, let's play it kind of card, and put it in the main instead, you'd have probably a better time with it, because you have to pay the 3 mana now as part of the companion cost, which has its downsides, to be fair. But yeah, that's essentially the deck. Hopefully you enjoy. If you do, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. But other than that, let's get to it. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, we're in, and this hand's kind of all I expect from this deck, to be honest, so we're going to keep it. I guess we'll thin first. We'll grab a Plains for potential Charming Prince on turn 2, maybe. We'll want to scry into a better hand, and we'll go with Wolfwiller Haven next turn. Looks like our opponent is playing the Auras, or Boggles list, whatever you want to call it. We'll go on the Plains with the Wolfwiller Haven. So we have the Gyruda, aka Gigan Cyberclaw Terror, in our hand already, so we can get on with it nice and early if we really want to. We can actually go Paradise Druid, so we got 2, 3, this would be 4, 5. Yeah, next turn we can just Gigan from hand. Huh. Tap land, see what happens, I guess. Let's see if we can absolutely cover the board in creatures in one go. Then again, we are up against the Boggles, so, you know, our opponent could just have a massive 20/20 somehow out of nowhere, knowing our luck. It could be mono white, actually. I haven't seen the mono white one in a while. It's usually just the Azorius ones, because you get access to Staggering Insight, which tends to be well worth their time, and Curious Obsession as well. Alright, so we just go Gigan, and we see what happens. Spin the wheel. It's Gigan time. So, mill 4. A couple of evens in their deck as well, so... Vanguard and a Paradise Druid. Okay, we've whiffed horrendously. Where do we go from here? I think we just take the Paradise Druid as a Mana Dork. And we Spark double it next turn, I guess. Really amazing hit. Probably gonna block with the Paradise Druid if they don't have a way of giving the Spirit Dancer flying. God, I'm so good at saying what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to play Pact of Negation here and Spark Double on the same turn. I don't think we're gonna die here. But if they swing, I guess there's a chance that we could actually kill our opponent if we looked into a Crater Hoof at the right time. So do they dare attack me is basically what this comes down to. And are we lucky? I mean, we've had a horrendous hit already. We milled over. Not enough, let's say. Hushbringer. Cannot allow that, I'm afraid. That straight up cannot be allowed to resolve. So we're going to have to pay for that next turn. And then hit our opponent. We could just get hit for 12 though, to be honest. So we're going to have to pay the 5. Got Vizier of Many Faces. Gaining 3 might be the best thing to do here. Yeah, having them run Hushbringer is, you know, not out of the ordinary, considering Muxus Goblins folds to it pretty hard. I still run it in my my auras list as well. It's a very good inclusion for that. Ah, all my ETBs are gone. They're all dead. Perhaps we can get Thassa, because that has a tap ability for the core Spirit Dancer. But that folds kind of to a Karamitra's Blessing anyway, so doubt that's going to be too good for us here. So these enter as a copy, which means I can actually use these to target Hushbringer and block Core Spirit Dancer potentially, which I think is something I would like to do. So let's do Vizier of Many Faces. Enter as my opponent's Hushbringer. And then Spark Double, do the same. That way we've got some blockers for the turn. And I can get in for a bit of damage. I think I'd be good to block here. It's, if they can chain together some glaring Aegises, I guess we've got a little bit of a problem with how aggressively I've attacked here. So they're going to block and pay 4. Down to 10. It would make my day if we just won from a general 0 ETB beatdown. I really don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to give it the best try I possibly can to make it happen. Obviously, any deck with a Hushbringer in it is going to be a miserable matchup for us. Without a shadow of a doubt. Getting in for 6. Could have 10 points of damage with a double Karamitra's Blessing, so I can't really allow Spirit Dancer to go unblocked. I guess the rest is fine, though. Oh, I should block... No. I mean, it's really heavily telegraphing that they have Karamitra's Blessing by the fact that they got in with that Hushbringer, because they know how much it means to me to have that ability to attack like that. So we're going to swing again. They didn't have a Glaring Aegis last time, but we can't assume that they won't again. But I can make a little bit more of an aggressive attack here. Get in with everything but Hushbringer to block the flyers, and then Vizier our Hushbringer. Opponent blocks Gigan, takes 4. They're going to have to start using their auras on Hushbringer. Yeah, they can block one creature there as well. So it's Gigan and Paradise Druid, and then they take 4. And then we're going to Embalm, copying our Spark Doubled Hushbringer. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. I wonder if they're actually debating whether or not they can afford to pay the 4 on Vanguard. I'd love if they didn't. I think they're not. Ooh. Okay, they're going to 5. So we're going to Vizier and target our Hushbringer. So we've got some blockers again. And again, we're just going to block the Course Spirit Dancer here, which is why they should really be putting their auras on that now, so they can gain too much life. It's a shame we can't really stop that. That's probably the reason why we lose this game. Then again, it could be the reason why we win this game if they neglect that fact. I'd be up for that. I'd be up for winning that game if you would like, opponent. Gonna go for Lurus. Have they got an All-Seed? They've got an All-Seed. Okay, so that's some life-linking blockers. Which is pretty good for them. So this is a weird one, because it's not going to kill me, so I could not block for this turn if I felt that I could win next turn. What would... Could we cast Crater Hoof if we've got it? It's 8 mana, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It wouldn't give us +X, but it would be a 5/5 haste. So it'd be a 5/5 haste, 6/6. Blocks. Yeah, they'd gain too much life to really struggle there. Yeah, they're holding back now, which is really what they should have done all along. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing we can do here. They just gain life whenever we attack in with our Gigan, so... I think they've finally figured out how they can just win the game by not playing, and, yeah, we're just gonna pass the turn, to be honest. And they can start building up. The Hushbringer, though, I tell you, Hushbringer is the only reason why they are not losing this game, because if these Embalms and Spark Doubles could target Gigan and actually trigger, we'd have most of our deck on the battlefield right now, or we might have even milled them out completely. But yeah, now they're gaining 7 life, and that's just going to be the game. So we'll move on to the next one. It was actually a close and interesting game, though, regardless. But moving on. Okay, we're in, and this hand says a lot. We're going to mulligan. No green mana for a start, and this one looks actually pretty good. We're going to put Vizier to the bottom. We'll shuffle it back in later with the Fable Passage, and lead off with a Hallowed Fountain tapped here. So, depends on what our opponent's playing, but Wolfwillow Haven could be better than Paradise Druid. We're up against the Turbo Muxus. I really hope that deck was dead. Love goblins, but I hate that deck with a burning passion. Could actually outrace them, in theory. I don't know. The fact that we've got Gigan in our hand, we don't have to pay the companion tax, is actually a big part of this. There's a plains. This mountain has melted on the side. I don't know. See, it needs help. Anyway, so just going to go Wolfwillow Haven here. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we were to go for Gigan's Companion here, we would open up the Paradise Druid, which means we couldn't cast this Gigan first. So we're not going to expose our Paradise Druid to burn spells, which are very likely to occur. And instead, we're just going to hope that Gigan hits many Charming Prince effects and flickers and... you know, all of that stuff. Just give me it all. Every last piece. What on earth is going on with these Clifftop Retreats, opponent? Explain this to me. I don't understand you, but I wish to. Okay. Part of me wonders if Prospect is just kind of like a one-mana investment to something like a land destruction deck. No, it's goblins. It's actually goblins. Okay. What's in white that this deck actually needs? Chain Whirler. Actually not that good. Okay, so we got our Fable Passage. We're going to crack it and shuffle that Vizier we put into the bottom back into our deck, giving us a good chance of hitting it later. And yes, just go straight for it. Gigan. Gyruda. Doom of Deaths. Milfar. Show me what you got. You got Charming Prince. Okay. It's better than nothing. Exile Gigan and bring it back on my end step, please. Opponent's got Conspicuous Snoop and a Ancient Ziggurat. It's almost like they could just run mono red and not have to fix their mana with Ziggurats. We actually whiffed. Ooh, Luminous Broodmoth, though. Okay. It's actually a thing. Vizier copies Gigan, because Gigan legend rules, because it's got the same name and it's still legendary. We get to bring it back with a flying counter on it. So if our opponent hasn't just beaten us here, we're in a good spot. Goblin Chieftain, Wily Goblin. Yes, it's just Turbo Muxus. Let's just see if they've got Muxus. They went for Chain Whirler last time instead of Muxus, which is weird. Which probably means they've already got one, but if they knew they were Muxusing, why bother getting Chain Whirler? Just get another Muxus. Just in case you get a garbage draw like that. This is right here is the reason why you just grab another Muxus, even if you got one in hand. This matron should grab another Muxus. Well, actually, no, this one should grab, probably Skirt Prospector. Yeah, Prospector to fill her up again. Krenko, also fine, I suppose, if they think they're going to live that long. Alright, here we go. So, we have Vizier of Many Faces. Target Gigan Cyberclaw Terror. We're going to keep this Gigan. Luminous Broodmoth returns the Gigan, and we copy the Gigan, but it has flying. We're going to keep the old Gigan in case we hit Crater Hoof Behemoth. We mill 8. We hit Spark Double. You love to see it. Spark Double becomes Gigan. We go again. We hit a Gigan. You love to see it. Yeah, Gigan comes in. We're going to keep this Gigan. That Gigan going out triggers the Luminous Broodmoth. Thank you, opponent. We're going to keep this one again. I think we whiffed. Yeah, we hit Paradise Druid, but we do still have another trigger on the stack thanks to our opponent. Another Broodmoth, and, well, there's Crater Hoof Behemoth. We could keep going. There are 21 cards. Is Crater Hoof good enough right now? It's probably good enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everything's getting +6/+6. Yeah, it's good enough. We'll go Crater Hoof. Oh, we get to go again? Fantastic. This Vizier becomes a copy of this Gigan. This Gigan stays in play. And, yeah, I think we deck our opponent at that point, even if we didn't swing in for combat damage. Yeah, thanks for the Broodmoth, I suppose. I don't know whether I should have one in my deck. It kind of requires you to have it in play already, I think, to be good, right? Then again, I guess it works with the Viziers. I just don't want too much clunk in my deck, because there's already way too much clunkiness in my deck to begin with. But yeah, Luminous Broodmoth is certainly a consideration, for sure, just to trigger Gigan. Maybe you could use it instead of Crater Hoof. I don't know. But yeah, we outraced Boros Muxus using Luminous Broodmoth. That is literally the only reason they've got it in there, right? Yep, that appears to be the case. Fair enough. Fair enough. To each his own. Okay, we're in, and we got lots of ramps, so I'm inclined to keep this one. I actually don't know what Fabled Passage goes and grabs. I guess it depends on the top deck. It's probably blue and use a Paradise Druid to play Charming Prince, I suppose. Yeah, we'll see. Definitely our turn 1 play, so it's all going to depend on what we draw here. And Temple of Milady, tips hat. This is probably going to be the Bolas's Citadel list, and that Pact of Negation could actually prove to be quite useful. Maybe buys us a turn if our opponent slams their Citadel. Too early for us to handle, maybe. And Drathasa. Not ideal, to be honest. Really want to be hitting lands, so we're going to play Paradise Druid. Pass the turn. We want to be guaranteeing ramp. And although Growth Spiral is nice at drawing... Oh, it's Abzan. Hello. Hello, Obelisk Spider. I know what you do. I'm aware of what you're capable of. I'm going to go Growth Spiral to try and hit a land. If we hit a land, I will Wolf Willow Haven my Paradise Druid and take the chance that they don't have removal for it. Okay. So, slap you into play. I think we can afford to take the damage for now. We'll play around Field of Ruin, I suppose, with a Wolf Willow Haven on... I don't think it matters. Just show it on the island. That's now a breeding pool. Yeah, perhaps they've got a way of just sticking a -1/-1 counter on it. Oh, actually, does Obelisk Spider do it? No, it doesn't. That's a Patra that sticks the counters on based off combat damage. So we're good there. We now have 2, 4, 5 mana. So we could go for the Gigan in our Companion Zone. If we draw a land, then we probably win the game. I guess we could do Charming Prince, Scry, and see if we hit the land. They didn't kill our Paradise Druid last time, but I will put 2 lands on top if they're there. Yeah, we don't want those. We'll make sure Vizier's second to last for reasons that may end up happening. And yeah, let's just put Gigan in our hand. That might paint a target on Paradise Druid, to be honest. Collected Company. Is there opponent playing Collected Company of Patra? I'd be so happy. I don't think we packed this. It's Militia Bugler. Okay. Alright. That's pretty cool. Huh. I like Bugler. It's a good card. I want to play around with it in a different kind of deck eventually. So I can't really block with the Charming Prince. Otherwise, I just kind of lose it to the Obelisk Spider. I could trade off the Exemplar. Yeah. I'm thinking next turn I go Gigan, and then if I hit Crater Hoof, the Charming Prince might actually be a creature I care about. But I don't think I really want our opponent having counters on things. Probably in their best interest that they do have those. So, land, and then we combo. It's a Wolf Willow Haven, so we're going to have to wait a little while on that one. Okay. Let's go Growth Spiral. Yeah, the land was just underneath it. Let's do Wolf Willow Haven, I think. Maybe Spark Double on Paradise Druid is actually better. Yeah, I'd say so. Spark Double Paradise Druid. Another Exemplar of Strength, which we will allow. I don't think there's much that we would want to Pact of Negation at this point. Maybe removal in response to Gigan coming down, since it would stop us from having targets for all of our Spark Doubles and whatnot. So we're at 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay. So I could block here, actually. It would just remove my +1/+1 counter on it. Oh, but then it would actually deal the 1 damage. I'm an idiot. Good 6. Alright, so... it's time. I think we either win or lose based off of this Gigan, so I might as well leave my Paradise Druids untapped for Crater Hoof Behemoth. And let's just go for it. Cyberclaw Terror. Reveals. I think garbage. Kind of. Alright, this Gigan. Put that Gigan in the yard. We revealed garbage. We are dead. How is it so impossible for me to hit anything good with this deck? I don't know. I honestly, it blows my mind how difficult it has become. Lethal Sting. Yep, sure, to be honest. Totally fine, but I am going to pact it because I got nothing better to do. You can't stop me. I'm dead anyway. Night of Autumn? Sure. Do your thing. Maybe I should actually revisit this in an Absan shell. I mean, it's really janky, but that's never really stopped me. Alright, block there. Block there. Block there. And die. Yep. Okay. Fair enough. Alright, we're in, and we've got a Gigan in hand, honestly. Pretty damn good. We've got 2 mana rocks, or mana docks, or ramp. It's probably the better way to call it. And, yeah, we've got Fabled Passage grabbing an island to make sure that our checks come into play on tap, so kind of nice. Alright, so let's go grab an island and pass the turn. Opponents watch the World Championship at one point, letting us know that they're a pro. I'm glad that you're a pro. Where do we want to go? I think we'll go Growth Spiral. Shove Breeding Pool into play tapped and pass the turn. There's no way they can't prowess that Soulscar Mage into a position where Paradise Druid's just gonna stop it dealing 1 damage anyway. Alright, so we got 4 mana, 5 mana, and 6 mana. Let's see if we can Gigan. We've actually not drawn a horrendous amount of spark doubles and clone effects. I say that knowing full well I'm still gonna somehow whiff. We're not blocking. Off chance we don't draw a land here. We need that Paradise Druid. Light up the stage. Let's see if our opponent is dead or alive. Well, we drew the land, so we're gonna play it, and then we're gonna go Gigan. Alright. Ooh, adrenaline rush time. This is where we've got a 1 in 4 hit something good every time. Let's do it. We literally hit 4 lands in a row. Oh, I hate this game. I hate it so much. Okay. Right. Well, next time we get to Spark Double, presumably we're not dead. We've got a field blocker. Yep. Going down real low. Real low now. Wizard's Lightning the face, go to 5. And a Soulscar Mage. Alright, so we're blocking the Soulscar Mage with the Electrostatic Field, since even if we got ourselves a Crater Hoof, we wouldn't be bothering with that. No point getting with the Pyromancer, I will block it with Gigan. AKA Gyruda, Doom of Depth. Alright, easy block, free block. And we drew a land. I'm terrified about playing Growth Spiral in case I hit a Spark Double, so I'm not going to. Okay. Second time's the charm. We could 20 our opponent if we hit the right cards, I think. So let's give it a shot. We have a Gyruda. Okay, we did hit a Crater Hoof, but it's not enough. It's only a +4/+4 which is 10 trample, which is 6 points. So, yeah, it's straight up not enough. We're going to have to keep going. We're going to go with Sparky D on Gyruda, Doom of Deaths. We hit another Sparky D. Good stuff. Oh, now we hit a Crater Hoof. It's the last Crater Hoof. We have to throw it out there, don't we? I don't think it's enough, but you have to do it. We're not going to have a chance to really pump our way out of death territory. If we had I guess, another land in play, then we could have viziered the Crater Hoof and got another bit of a pump. That would have been nice. But we actually won. Oh my god. Did we actually have lethal, or did our opponent just not do the math? Because I didn't do the math, so let's have a look. Let's see. 4 minus 11. Yeah, that's a nice amount of damage there. Yeah, okay, we had lethal. Good stuff. Good stuff. So there's 4 points blocked here, 10 points for 14, and then this is 25 points of damage. Wow. Wow. Oh, what an absurd game. So they were playing, like, creature-based, not Ember Cleavey, mono red. This is the mono red I actually like. I don't mind going against this mono red. It's usually the Anax I Ember Cleave you and I win because I drew Ember Cleave and Anax in the same game. I really don't like that one. Even Cavalcade I kind of prefer, even though Cavalcade is more of, I drew the Chandra's Pyro Phoenix, whatever it's called, and then I cavalcaded twice in a row because I always draw 2 cavalcades and it made 20 points of damage on its own. That's the one I really don't like. But this one, I don't know. This feels like the right power level. I don't know. Even though it's probably underpowered in general. Oh, God, how did we win this game? I don't know. I do not know. But let's keep going. Okay, we're in. We have Simic Mana. We have a Gigan in hand as well, which is honestly the best possible thing. I'm wondering, to be honest, whether the Gigan should even be in my companion zone at this level. I'm getting the impression that it shouldn't be, but the deck doesn't function without it, so I'd have to really tweak the list. We might just die on turn 3 to a Prospector and not actually get to play Magic the Gathering, but we'll have to see. We're going to go with Hinterland Harbor into Growth Spiral, I suppose. Bit of Glacial Fortress into play. And, you know, we could be dead very soon. Or we could be winning. Which one's it going to be? Oh, we're going to be dead. Ah, I see. Okay. So there's no point playing anything because our opponent just has the win. But we're going to do it anyway. We're gonna... Oh, we can't even do it the way I want to do it. We're just gonna have to Wolfwillow Haven. And then Charming Prince. We're gonna have to hope that our opponent completely whiffs. And 19 doesn't cover it. So it's sack everything but Skirk Prospector here to play Muxus. Unless they draw a land. Appears they haven't. And yeah, RNG spins the wheel. Let's find out whether Pure Skill will take them to victory here. Well, Pure Skill gets them a re-hit on that. No. No. Yeah, back away slowly, Prospector. Really? Happily. Okay. So, let's see. 2, 4, 5. We're gonna go with... Now, why would you want to do a silly thing like that? Why is that on your list of to-dos? It's a good job that I spotted you doing that nonsense. Alright, Hallowed Fountain. I actually think paying 2 here is better, because we're going to gain 3 here. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, and then we're going to gain 3 here. This gives us 2 blockers. Muxus not going to push his way through that. We're at 23. They traded off the Prospector, so they don't get to just Muxus again unless they had another one. Okay, so they had another one. Instigator. Sure. This is 13, 14, 15. I'm going to keep my Charming Princes in play because I'm not dead and I might be able to create a hoof off these Charming Princes and win. So we go to 8. Our opponent is probably inclined to sack their tapped creatures to produce more. Let's see if they go about doing that. They do not. Alright. RNGesus, take the wheel. Here comes Gigan Cyberclaw Terror. We could hit our own Muxus. That'd be great. Okay, we hit a Vizier of Many Faces. Vizier of Many Faces copies Gigan. We keep either one. It doesn't really matter. And we whiff. Okay. Wily Goblin. They're basically dead at this point, right? Ooh, I actually could do this. Charming Prince. For reasons I shouldn't have to specify, we're going to flicker Gigan now with the Charming Prince. And then on end step, we're gonna basically whiff again. But you know what? We're getting our chance. We've whiffed again. Wow, we even whiffed on our opponent's graveyard. Take that, Paradise Druid. Okay. What could possibly go wrong now? Who knows? What if we're hitting there? There's a Gem Palm, Prospectors, another Gem Palm. I'm pretty sure they only run 2 Gem Palms these days, so we've gotten rid of that removal, I guess. $32 cards. It's a shame we couldn't have milled them a little bit more, but I'm not that good at Magic the Gathering, it seems. Come on, let's not be dead. I really just want to not be dead. You can Muxus again, they're going to. If they hit a hasty creature, then getting rid of their old Muxus isn't going to make a big deal. Well, yeah, they got the War Chief and an Incinerator. This version's running 3 Gem Palms. I think when I first built it, mine also had 3 Gem Palms. Are we dead? So we're going to block Muxus. That's a given. We're going to block Trashmaster. 2, 4, 6... Yeah, I have to block a little bit more. We're going to go in front of the Prospector to make sure that's dead. 1 in front of the Gem Palm. And then 1 here. That keeps us alive and ready to go again. Only taking 4. Punter's like, how are they not dead? I've Muxus twice. Usually my opponents are dead when I RNG my way into a Muxus twice. And I'd be inclined to agree. That's usually a thing that happens. But not today. Not today. And in fact, now that Prospector is gone, they are very much open to a counterattack. Vizier on Gigan Cyberclaw Terror means that we get to re-roll. Potentially into a Crater Hoof. Drew a land. Don't think that really matters, but let's go. Gigan. Keep the old Gigan, because it doesn't have summon sickness, and we whiff. We whiff again! How do we keep whiffing? I don't understand. What is wrong with this game? We've got, what, 10% chance on Viziers, 10% chance on Thassers, 14% chance on Spark Doubles, 7% on Crater Hoof, which 5, 6, 7, 8, 14... It's close, actually. I think close to lethal, but it is not. Yeah, what a bummer. But, you know, I can't be upset. I really can't, because our opponent also horrendously whiffed at the same time. We just had every opportunity to win that game. They gave us every possible opportunity, and RNG was just not on our side, so can't be upset with something like that. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video, I think. Don't play this deck. It's heavily RNG focused, and I mean heavily RNG focused. If you want to have absolutely no control over whether or not you will win the game based off of you playing your win con, by all means, deck list is down below, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's a thing, alright. I want to try another version with this deck where Gyruda is kind of it's still the primary goal, but it's not essential. Like a Blink deck where there's 4 of them in the list, and it doesn't really matter if we draw it or not, but if we do, then we get to do this kind of combo shenanigans. So keeping like the Spark double clone style of things, but having a little bit more of a flicker style that we can really, you know, make use out of and survive without RNG having to be focused on it anyway. I want to give that a shot because I do really love Gigan, aka Gyruda, Doom of Debts. I think it's a fantastic card, even if it is very much not for me. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have, really helps out the channel a great deal. If you do, hit the like button and subscribe as well for more nonsense like this in the future. Try and come back with a deck that actually wins over the coming days, so stay tuned for that. Maybe a little bit of Brawl as well. We haven't played Brawl in a while, so I might jump back in on that. And I've also been thinking about doing some Armenket Premier drafts as well, because I've got some free player tokens, so might as well spend them and get my Armenket collection just a little bit more bulked out, I guess. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.